Hello everybody, welcome. This is, well, it's basically our first, because the last one was a bit of an experiment. It's our kind of afternoon workshop with Diane Dorward. And Diane's here, we're going to spend the next hour, it could be a bit longer, we're not set in stone here if it's an hour and 10 minutes and that. And it's your chance now to really ask Diane any questions you want. Try and get her to demonstrate anything that you want, any questions about stenciling, anything about our CDs. We've got the CDs, we've got everything. So we can take our time. It's not about selling you the products. You saw the shows this afternoon. You saw the CD show, you saw the stenciling show. This is about you and Diane now. So Diane's going to take you through. We've got a few demonstrations that she's going to do, but we'll try and respond by the questions. Now, how do you answer to us? Well, on the forum, we've got a section there. I'm not used to Barry's doing this, but I'm going to do this on my own. Diane Dorward, Webclass, questions here please. So if you've got any questions, there's two ways to do it. You can go to that forum there, you can go on the link, just type it in there, I shall be looking at them and I'll be reading them out to Diane. Don't put anything rude. And then we also have the phone fairy. Enter the phone fairy. We should have a twing there. Here's the phone fairy. Now, if you want to ring in, you can ring in and we'll have you. The phone fairy will look after you and she will take your number, ring you back and then bring you into the studio and we can talk live then with Diane. Now, when you are talking to us on the phone, do not be looking at because you're about 20 seconds behind. It'll be very confusing for you. So try and go into another room and just ask your questions there. So what's the number, phone fairy?
It is 0845 652 9142.
That's a lovely little accent there you got there, my dear. I'll do it again just in case you're not mic'd up. We've hopefully picked up there. It's 0845 652 9142. We'll be giving you that number every now and again, so you've got time to write it down. So, phone fairy, when I go like that, disappear. Where's she gone? Where's she gone? The technology here is marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. Well, welcome to our first one, Chuck.
Thank you.
An afternoon of pleasure with Diane Dorward. Not many people can say that. Actually, they can.
That's another story.
So, should we start them off with a demonstration? So what are you going to do them this time, Chuck?
Well, I'm going to use my Dove stencil.
Dove stencil. Talk to them. Your camera free's yours.
Because the Dove stencil has a frame and it's not always that easy to see how to use it. Now, all these stencils work for dry embossing, so you can dry emboss the frame if you wish and put the Dove inside. But this is another twist on the same theme. What works really well are these glue pens, and it's one of the finer point glue pens. Just draw around the frame. It doesn't work by and large for doing smaller areas on the stencils.
So that's like one of our Kuretake ones.
Yes, they are.
Got any
off
other
the website.
of the pens, they can use those.
But it won't work for the finer areas. But for frames, it's great. Okay, now I've done that. So I'm then going to add my glitter.
Now, as we go along, you've got your glitter on there, but as we go along, I'll be answering any questions that are on the forum. Unfortunately, I don't know how to refresh on this one, because I don't normally do it. So I'll have to get some help in a second. But don't forget, you can ring the phone fairy. So what are you doing there, Chuck?
Right. So this one's already dry.
Okay.
Right. So
let's show everybody. There you go. Come close up on that, Chuck, so we can see. So you put the glitter on there and just tapped it off, and you've got a ring, a flower ring. It's like a glitter.
You have a nice little frame that the Dove will stick within.
Okay.
So I give it sort of 20 minutes so that it dries off.
Now, those who've not done stenciling before, what are you using there?
I'm using low-tack tape. Always best if you stick your stencil down with low-tack tape. So it'll save it moving and it won't harm your card.
What if you use the ordinary tape?
Well, it's problematic then because you can just tear your card a little.
Oh, okay.
So, right, so now I'm going to use the stencil paste. So
stencil paste, explain what that is.
It's, really it's an embossing paste.
I'll tell you what, just before you do that, Stuart, how do you refresh on this, Chuck? Because it's all right, bring Stuart in, it's a work in progress, Chuck. So what do you click on?
Is this number here?
Oh, that one there. And then I should be able to see.
Or F5.
Or F5.
Yeah.
Okay, it's technology. Oh, we've got questions already. You carry on doing that, and I'll bring you up to date.
Okay.
So explain about the
the paste. It's a paste that dries hard and white. So very easy to use. I always say if you can make a sandwich, you can do this. It's buttering bread. Okay, so I've buttered my stencil. Now, just be a little bit careful as you peel off, like that. I take the tape off, put that in the bin, and I'm going to put my stencil straight into water.
That's my tip. Clean up as you go along, because if you put that down onto one side, what you're going to do is put something on it.
Yeah, sure.
That is the voice of experience, trust me. I'm forever putting stuff. So now as you're working, clear your rubbish away.
And one of my best pieces of craft equipment is my seaside bucket. It's just right to put my stencils in.
Now, before you go on, I've got a couple of questions here for you, which talks about the relief.
Yeah.
It says, how long should you leave the relief paste to dry? And if you wanted to paint the relief paste image, do you have to leave it till it is dry before doing so? That is from Nona39.
Oh, hello, Nona. Well, yeah, leave your paste about an hour to be properly dry. And yes, if you want to paint it, let it dry for that hour, then go back and paint your detail in.
Now, what can you paint it with?
You can paint it, well, you can paint it with any paints. You can pre-colour it with any water-based paint. But if you let it dry, I mean, obviously you can use your nice ink pens, you can use acrylics, and any kind of paint, really, your twinkling, H2Os, all that type of thing. This one I'm going to do with glitter, and you can see I'm just tipping a little bit of glitter out of my cup first, so I've got it on the edge, and I'm just going to tap it out like that. If you want coloured paste, and now I'm going to flip straight over.
It's all in the wrist action.
It certainly is, darling.
So what's happened though, we've actually just put a little bit of glitter. Should we show everybody close up on
places.
That? Let's see close up on that. Look, can you just move that into shot a little bit better the other way? No, down towards you. It's hard, isn't it? Everybody thinks it's so easy. There you go, Chuck. Now you can see on there you've just got a little bit where the bird is with the glitter on there now. So you've tapped off the first lot, and this is how you add the colours.
Yeah, this is how I get more than one colour. And then I'm going to add the second colour in the same way. Once I've tipped a little bit out, got it to the edge of my cup, then I can control where it goes. And again, flip over. Okay,
and you're using, that's a good idea, because if you've got a different piece of folded paper for each glitters.
I use the same. I use the same one, but I give it a good old tap so there's none of the other colour.
A good old tap.
Good old tap. And then there's none of the other one left. But if you want coloured paste, I think sometimes for things like a baby card, last colour, as you can see, I've put all over, and it just goes on what's left. Sometimes things like a baby card, you might want to do a design just in blue or pink paste. Then it's any watercolour paint, and then that can be acrylics, emulsion, twinkling H2Os. Stir a little into your paste and colour it, and then use that, and that's quite a nice effect then. Instead of having a hard white design, you have pink, blue, whatever colour. Nice in gold paint as well. You've got gold acrylic for Christmas designs.
Oh, fabulous.
So that's another sort of way of using it.
Just got another message here. I just want to say as well, the wall's very nice behind you. Where's that from?
That's from my Floral Art CD. It's one of the backing papers. Actually, my Graham designed that one.
Oh, well done, Graham. Graham's watching the show here. He's in the studio at the back in the control room. Now, I've just got another message here from Lottie saying, "Oh, it's exciting. Having live guests and close-up special teaching classes." Well, we'll do that later on. And it's absolutely fabulous, and the best of it, it's all free, which it is. And a very big thank you to you, Diane, for your class that you're going to be doing now. Now, it's not a formal class. It's a very informal session, this. We've got an hour, a bit longer if it goes on. It's your chance to ask us any questions about stenciling or Diane's CDs. If there's anything on there you want to ask her about designs or how easy it is to use. I've never even used them yet. I've not had time, so I've got them here loaded up. If you want me to show you anything, I'll just show. If I can do it, you can do it, Chuck. So I'm going to refresh this. So off you go. Carry on, Chuck. You've got camera free. Off you go.
Okay. Well, for another demo, we're going to use the paints this time.
Tell us about the paints.
The paints are oil-based, which means they're permanent on any surface.
Yeah.
When you first open your pot of paint, there's a skin on the top. You need to pull that back. And underneath, it's sticky. Each time I reopen my paints, I do just wipe it with kitchen roll, and then you're on a sort of sticky bit.
Okay.
They work on fabric, furniture, walls, indoors, outdoors, so all the decor things, but they also work for paper and card. They're acid and lignin free, so you're okay for your scrapbooks. And they go miles and miles because you only use a little bit on your brush, and you can see because they're cream, you can't spill them. If you're up ladder stenciling walls, they bounce because they're plastic.
So it's great for doing interior design.
Oh, it's brilliant. I can do a big room in about 3 hours because they're very quick
So
to
I've
do.
heard. But can you stencil it?
Obviously, darling.
Sorry, camera free. Let it go.
Okay. So it's just a dab of my paint. And now this one, instead of doing specific...
Why are you swirling?
I'm swirling because that gets the paint on much easier. We used to do all this stippling business, didn't we?
We did.
A while back. But it's much easier to swirl, easier on your hand, and actually you will find the colours blend. Because I'm going to do this as a sort of a shaded affair. Mm-hmm. Now, with these paints, because they're oil-based, you need to have one brush per colour, ideally, because you can't clean your brush between colours, and your brush needs to be properly dry when you use it.
Okay.
So if you're in an absolute hurry, hot water, washing up liquid, clean your brush, but you've got to get your hairdryer on it.
Ooh.
So then I've put my green on, then
one thing I like about stenciling is that you can keep it on Diane Dorward, is that I love it when you do get the colours blending into each other.
Yes.
You get some really nice effects.
You do. That's what I like. I mean, obviously you can get them in specific areas as you want, and some designs you obviously need to. But I enjoy colours blending and seeing what you get. I think it's part of the fun. And so I do quite a lot of things like this where the shades go from one to the other. Yeah. Now, stenciling never looks anything while the stencil's still on. It always looks a mess. So now I'm going to pull the stencil off.
Oh, fabulous.
But
I love those colours.
Yes, they're sort of almost iridescent. You do this with your grass painting in colours like that, don't you? But to go one step even further, while it's still sticky, I'm going to add some crystal glitter.
Ooh.
Like that.
And that we can find on the website.
You can. And you can see now, if we can get it twinkly, we can catch the lights. He's shoving me here to get me in the right
arms
place.
Around to make
I'm
sure
just
you're
trying
in the
to
right
catch
place.
the light for the camera. There. So you get a twinkle. And then just spray that with hairspray or a fixative, and that will hold your glitter for you to stop it coming off. And that gives it just that extra little touch on top of your stencil painting.
So how long have you been stenciling, Dan?
Man and boy. Actually,
Man and boy, is this something you want to share with the group?
I've just passed the 20 years of demonstrating at the shows, demonstrating.
20 years?
20 years since the first Home for Pleasure, and I was demonstrating at that one.
And I've noticed that stenciling seems to be coming up again, because it's like all crafts, they have dips
everything goes and comes back.
Around.
Yeah,
exactly.
And stenciling is coming back for decor as well. So these paints are absolutely ideal for doing all that type of thing.
I've got lots of different Diane's stencils on the website as well, so anytime, after we've done this class, you can go there and have a look at those as well if you want to. So what else have you got there? Right. Let's see if there's any more questions. I don't think there is at the moment. Don't forget, you can leave any messages on the forum, and Diane will try and answer those for you. No, put some more on if you want. Or you can telephone the phone. Farah will answer the phone for you, and then she'll bring the messages back and we'll give you a ring back. If you want to phone the phone fairy, the number is, have you got your pen and papers ready? Good. It's 0845 652 9142. Do you want to do it, Diane? Go on, off you go.
0845 652 9142.
Fabulous. Now, I bet you meet some funny folk when you go to the trade shows and everything, don't you?
Oh,
got any funny
sorts
stories?
of things. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've met some lovely people and heard a lot of tales. Actually, I always say that the things that we sell ought to be on the National Health, because I've heard so many tales of ladies that their crafts have given them back their lives after all sorts of things like illness and being widowed and things. But we've also had all kinds of sort of funny things happening to us, and I'm desperately trying to think of one that I can actually
don't
repeat.
worry. Once you think about it, we'll go through down memory lane together. Now listen, come on, we need a little few more questions and anything you want to ask Diane about, whether it's anything that she does in her life. Well, let's not be too specific, shall we? Get them through. It's your turn to, time to ask about stenciling and that. So when you stencil, what's the main thing? So you've got your paints.
Yeah.
Now you could use ink pads if you wanted to. You could use different paints and that. But what's the benefits of using the paint? Is it because they're nice and thick and they're not going to go
It's because they're
everywhere?
dry. If you use something like an acrylic paint, you really have to dry your brush up until you can hardly get any paint out of it, or it will seep under the stencil. That's the age-old problem with stenciling, is the paint running. And it's because these paints are dry. And, of course, the paste as well that I used, that's dry. It's not PVA glue, it is a paste. So it's the dryness of these things that keeps it within the confines of the holes in the stencil and stops it running. And that's the key to it all, to getting a good result. And when you get your stencils new, the hardest thing with stenciling is actually sitting down and opening the pots and thinking, right, I'm going to do this. But once you get there, get yourself a pile of scrap paper, back of a roll of wallpaper, even if it's large stencils for decor, and decide to sit and play. Because don't attack your walls or your best cardstock straight away. You need to get a feel for how to use your brushes, and if you practice for half an hour, you'll be so much better than you were at the start. And if you're doing things for decor, as I say, if you use the back of a roll of paper, or often what I do, if I'm going to decorate a room, before we start painting, I stencil various places with various stencils I might use and see what they look like. And you can also, if you've only got one stencil in mind, you can sometimes swap the colours and it will look differently. So either do it on a big piece of paper or straight onto your walls and see how you like that. So play about with it and get really confident, and then it's time to start doing either your card work or attacking your walls.
And it's amazing what you can do with just one or two stencils,
oh,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And
yes.
what you can stencil, I mean, you could do coordinate the whole kitchen or the bathroom.
Oh, yes, yeah, exactly, because you can do walls, and you can do it on sort of drawer of a chest, you can do it on roller blinds, on curtains, cushions, bedding. You can also sort of branch out
fabrics, could you use those paints on fabrics?
Yes,
then?
you can.
Oh,
in the packs that you sell on your website, we do actually put instructions in with fabrics. Either leave them to air cure for a week or iron them on the reverse the day after you've stenciled, and then that's set them. And all you need to do is use non-bio detergent and up to a 40-degree wash, which most of us do anyway. And your paints then are fine. So you can do it on clothing and that sort of thing. So there's such a lot of scope then when you get into that.
Got a question for you. Now, I've got a question here from Sally45. She's saying, hi, Diane.
Hello,
hi, Diane.
Sally.
Can you also use embossing powders while the paints they're using is still wet?
Yeah.
And maybe clear afterwards, Sally?
Yes, you can. And yes, with your I would use it more on the relief paste than the paints. Because the paints are oil-based, they are all right with a heat gun, but I sort of feel happier using the heat gun on the relief paste, which is water-based. It's just that bit safer. But yes, if you put your embossing powders on the paste instead of the glitter as I used, and if you use the metallic ones, the gold, the silver, that type of thing, and get the heat gun on them until they turn, actually you get a lovely effect. You get an effect which I always think looks like molten metal. It's a most peculiar almost look. It's a completely different look, but people won't work out how you've done it.
It goes slightly bubbly, doesn't it?
It does.
You know, like you see a volcano and it's that thick lava and it's slightly bubbles.
And shiny and things. And it's a good look because nobody... And if people can get a card from you and they don't know how you managed to get there, that's always good, isn't it?
It is. It's really good, that.
Yeah.
Also, can you use the glitters, I think, on the paints as well, as opposed to the paste?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
Embossing powders, I mean. Sorry.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
So if you've got the embossing powders, you can put those on the paints too.
Yes, you can.
And you can emboss like normal.
Yeah.
Do you have to do that fairly quickly because the paint's dry?
Yes, don't leave it too long because the paints are only sticky for a little while on card. They do soon dry off.
I've got another question for you, darling.
Yes.
This is from Nona39, who's been busy today. Diane, can you use stencils on lampshades? And if so, what would be the best thing to put them on with? E.g. chalks, paints, inks, etc.?
My paint, I would say, absolutely is the best thing. Chalks you don't get such a definite depth of colour with a chalk, and it might just come off with a lampshade. But yeah, I mean, and obviously because our stencils are plastic, they will curve, and of course, actually, that's another thing I ought to say, they're great for cake decorators. Quite beyond me doing the cake. That's your department.
Cake decorating,
isn't it?
Yes. It'd be fantastic for cake decorating.
Yeah, but lampshades, sides of cakes and things, they will curve. So stick it down. I mean, with a lampshade,
Plant pots would be good as well.
Yes, that too. Stick it down with your masking tape. I mean, you can even use sticky sellotape type stuff on a lampshade. It's not so bad. But stick your stencil down, and I would use these paints. They're ideal, and of course because these paints do any surface, you can actually coordinate the whole room. And I've even done garden walls with them. I did the side of somebody's very long garage with rainforest with palm trees and all sorts of things.
I saw a picture of that.
Yeah, and 3 or 4 years later it was still great. After that they sold the house, so I haven't been able to visit it since.
Oh, you're not visited it? Oh, what a shame. Got another question for you. This is from Lottie. Is the paste safe for children to use? And if so, what age would you advise they can use it from? I suppose with supervision, any age, I would have
thought. And certainly it is because it's non-toxic, which is always the important thing. And yes, it's quite safe. It washes... The paste, you can use the paste on things like walls and MDF blanks and mirrors, but you can't use the paste on fabric because it does wash off. So, by that degree, if the youngsters get it on their clothing, it's okay, the mum can get it off. And really, I use a knife. You can get spatulas and things. I use a knife to spread it. So, once they're at the stage where they're able to spread, you know, cheese spread on or whatever, then they'd be able to do this. Supervision obviously is ideal if they're even younger. Help them do the spreading. Lifting the stencil off is often the hardest job. So if the grown-up sort of just helps them lift that off. And then after that, of course, they can add their glitter quite freely. And yes, it's a good craft for youngsters. It really is.
What another question for you? This is from Storming12.
Storming12.
You can say hello, now, Sheila. Now, if you stencil on material using the paints, do you have to set them?
Yeah, either iron on the back next day. I just, turn the piece of fabric over, whiz over it. Or if you leave them for a week anyway, they will air cure on their own. So if it's something, you can even stencil onto things like knitwear. So it's something that you wouldn't iron very much anyway. Just leave it a week before you need to wash it, and it's perfectly fine then. It's okay for washing.
Fabulous. Now, should we just move on slightly and just have a go? Now, you've also got some, you showed them, you did your CDs today, didn't you?
I did.
Now, you've prepared a couple of alternative ways of using the things you print out. Do you want to take us through that? I'll just show them this first, Sugar.
Yes.
Now, if I show them this up close and personal, what's this then here, Chuck?
These are our scatter picks. Now, these are something slightly different and something I've devised myself.
Scatter picks.
And do you know that flower arrangement?
Yeah.
My sister did that.
Your
won a
sister
prize
did
with
it? So a lot of the designs are very unique.
They are, because Sister Pat did a lot of the flower arrangements.
Yeah.
And instead of being cropped like the pyramids, they're actually reduced in size.
Yeah.
So I would say cut them all out and then start playing about with the loose pieces.
Yeah. I've got another example of one here. I can just show you that one. There you go. Now, as you can see, it's like when you see the pyramids, she is lovely, isn't she? Now, whether you have the same picture and then it's just being cropped and cropped and cropped, making it smaller, this is the same picture, just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And you can see that. Who is that lady?
I don't know, but she's so beautiful.
She is. She's gorgeous. She reminds me of that lady. What's she called? Not Amy Johnson.
Yes, she was a pilot.
If you've got an idea who that lady could be, it's obviously a very early pilot. Just let us know, Chuck.
We'd love to know.
Do that. Don't forget, you can also phone in as well if you want. Our phone fairy is just waiting for your telephone calls. You can talk live to us, and the telephone number for that is 0845 652 9142. 0845 652 9142. So this is a new kind of technique in a way.
It is. Yep, it's something like you do.
Don't show both finished ones, and then let's do the first one, then we can show them finished together later on.
Yeah, well, what I do...
Right. Take it away, Diane.
Like we all do, you play with things, particularly when you're developing new ideas. So, with the scatter picks, I first of all cut them all out and have them in a pile. Now, you can trail them anyway on your card as you want. And that's one effect, and of course you can keep the little ones for your ATCs. But if you keep them in a pile, I'm just going to scoop them all up because I can't pick that one up. Keep them in get them in a pile, and if you tap them off to one corner, some designs work best and some don't. You can see you've got a zoom effect, and obviously if you put that together with foam pads, it comes even more towards you, and some sides of the design are better than others. I'll take this one off to the top corner. I like that.
Oh, fabulous.
You see, and it all goes up to that smaller design.
Let me just drag that into position. So can you just move it over, darling, so we can see it in the middle? No, just not the paper, move the thing.
Oh, sorry, darling.
There you go. There you go. Just move it into the centre. That reminds me of one of Stuart's video effects when he kind of zooms us out the window, doesn't it?
Exactly. And as I was playing, I hadn't actually realised that's what it would do. But you get these sort of zooms, and it's a new look, it's a new effect. So that's one thing you can do. And obviously you bring them all to the middle.
Just by doing the opposite way.
Yeah, exactly. And you can take them all into the middle as well, and you get a different zoom then.
Different effect.
And as I say, depending on the picture, some want to go one way, some want to go the other. Now, I don't know that this one will work nearly as well down to the bottom corner. But you just try it and you see, now that one is not quite as good.
I like that though, it's good still.
So you've got these, so they're all the different effects.
And that just shows how you did that as well, because just before you do it, I thought you was going to take them all apart and then just layer them on top of each other like that, but you've got a quicker way of doing it.
Well, I have. This is just to play, but obviously when you come to stick them, I'm doing it. I just tap them all into one corner just to see. And then obviously...
That's so quick and easy.
When you stick them, you sort of got to lift them and stick them with your foam pads. But it is a completely different look for your cards. So that's the zoom effect. And you've obviously got your scatter effect you can do. And then something else. I worked this one out, and I am sitting in the office, and I'm saying, Graham, look, Graham. And he's very good. He always looks, and he always oohs and ahs in the right place. So, here we are. This is the first picture, the biggest one. And then put your next picture, and it's about 1/3 of the way along the bottom is the way I do it, with the corner sticking over. And always play and make sure you're happy before you go back and stick them together with your pads.
I suppose you could use, while you're working it out, so it looks like, you could use just a very thin little ball of blue tack or something like that.
Well, yeah, you could. Yeah.
So they're not going to scatter.
Because they are scatter picks, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
And for the scatter picks, as I say, with these things, some designs work better than others. If they've got light tops and dark bottom, or light one end, dark the other, you get a better effect.
Have you got a dark bottom?
I don't think so, darling.
Okay. You were going to say that then, weren't you? You thought better of it.
Yeah.
Because you thought, I'm sat next to you, but I don't miss a trick.
No.
No. I've arranged your flow now.
Yes, you have, actually.
All right, well,
but
carry
there
on
we
then.
go.
I'll shut up.
Yeah. Oh, if only.
Oh, look at her.
We'd all pay for that, wouldn't we? Right. Now, I've come right round on myself, so that's the bottom of the picture.
Oh,
the
fab.
bottom one. And I'm going to twist this round and show you. You've got a whizzer.
Oh, brilliant.
Twisty. And again, it's a different look. It's sort of animated because you've got that movement in it. So, you know, that's something to get the best sort of value out of the scatter picks on your CDs. That's something else you can do with them.
Now the scatter picks on every of your CDs.
Every CD, every design on every CD gives you scatter picks.
Oh, brilliant. Now, I've got another message here just saying, this is from Nona39, who says, Diana, basically, I never knew that stenciling was so versatile. So that's what I'm down here for. Would never have thought to put them on fabric and even knitwear.
Yes.
I've never thought of knitwear.
Yeah, it's something... do you know, I used to do classes a long, long time ago. And at the one class, a couple of ladies came who were ardent knitters, and they knitted squares and come to see if the paints would work. And, you know, that is the only way. You just got to try these things. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. They brought them. And you do need to stipple with the knitwear, obviously more than swirl. But stipple the paint on, and this paint works on knitwear, and it's fine, and it's a good effect. So yeah, and as I said, use the stencils for cake decorating, and you can spread the stencils with the royal icing much as I do with my paste, or you can use the powder colours and all that sort of thing with the cakes. So there's a lot of scope, and if you use the nice pens today, they don't work actually colouring in the stencil, as it were. But if you outline them and then take the stencil away, you can use those. So, you know, there's so much you can do so that you can get all these different looks. And don't take a stencil at face value. Now, I've got something over here, which we did touch on in the earlier show, to go back to
stepping away from the guest. What have you got there, Chuck? I'll tell you what, before you move on to that, I've just got one more question to ask for you here. When you're printing out from your CDs, this is from Nona as well, what paper weight do you use to print out from your CDs, and do you ever use photo paper as well?
I do. I mean, I use all sorts of things. I mean, these little samples that I've just been playing with, bless him, Rick printed those out for me a little while ago, and they're just on the ordinary 80 GSM office paper, and they've come out fine. Now, I use photo paper, I use matte photo paper and gloss photo paper. I also use 160 GSM white card. Something that you can do with my CDs, we went through in the programme, there's some extra backgrounds, and they're wordy ones. They say happy birthday, happy Christmas.
To show them those?
Yeah,
I'll try and find them.
Okay, they're in background extras on all the CDs.
Okay, I'll go for the floral.
And they're wordy ones. And they sort of give you a plain backing paper, but not plain because you've got the words, and they come in all kinds of colours. Now, to ring the changes with those, instead of printing them on white paper, print them on blue paper, cream paper, and so you can get green words on pink paper to coordinate with your card. So, and they do acetate works, printable acetate. Vellum is great. I often use vellum and use it as a wrap on my card, printed with one of the backgrounds. So try it. Try it. If you like it, stick with it. If you don't, use something else. But I use photo paper and I use card and I use everything really.
I've actually brought up your flower one here, the floral art one, and this is showing you all the different things that are on here. As you can see, Jamie, you've got all the different ones here. You've got background extras, background.
If you go into background extras,
that's the top one. So I'll just double click on that.
Yeah.
So come up with all your options there. Now you can't see the designs, but all of these.
If you click on one of those, it'll open, and then
there you go.
There we are, and you can see you get a lot of wordy ones. As I said, there's happy birthday, happy Christmas.
This one's got flower, bud, leaf, bloom, foliage, petals, everything to do with flowers,
and each one has got something to do with the subject of the CD and all the colours. But I use them a great deal. Sometimes just as a little square behind the greeting, it is plain but not plain, and it's not as jazzy as the backing paper, because obviously you get a backing paper that matches every design, but these are all the extras that you've got little intermix.
You get a lot on here, Chuck.
Yeah, you do.
And these are just the extras.
Yeah, just the extras.
Hearts,
and
nice.
You get pink hearts and red hearts on that one with the flowers. And we give you a fan CD, templates on that CD with the flowers.
Oh, you've got Happy Christmas as well. There's a nice Christmas. I see what you mean. I mean, that's when you actually look at that from a distance, you've got things on it. It's going to look like a kind of a reddish background paper.
Yes.
When you look in more detail, you've got Happy Christmas repeated
exactly.
there.
So it's plain,
many times.
but not plain.
Yeah.
So it's halfway. So it's nice. It'll blend in with the backing paper you've chosen. So you can have a couple of backing papers and your playing card, and it's almost a bridge between your playing card and your backing paper. And because they all come in about 9 colours, you can usually find a colour that will work. So I find those very useful. But as I say, if you want to print them onto, try printer. I use quite a bit of cream card and cream paper for those sorts of things, or blue.
I think that's nice when you do a card that's got the oldie worldy look.
Yes.
The Victorian feel.
Yeah,
to
a bit
that
aged,
kind of thing.
much like yourself, Alan.
She's getting her own back today, isn't she? Old parchment knickers there. Right, on this one here, it's got love, joy, happiness, hope, friendship, trust, cheers. Nice sentiments on there too.
Good things, so that's one's called.
We like good things and nice things here, don't we?
And it's just
and
a nice thing to put on somebody's card, you know, along with the backing. And if they read it, it's things that you think, oh yeah, I like that. They make you smile.
You make me smile, darling. Do you want to start your next demonstration?
Yep.
What are you going to do for us now?
Right, I'm going to use the paste again. And I'm going to use my With Sympathy stencil. Now, the With Sympathy stencil is a lovely design and very useful to have in your kit because, sadly, it's often at the drop of a hat you have to use it. And I just do it in white paste. Usually I don't put any glitter on it, and a silver peel-off around the edge of the card, and that is all you want. But you might think, well, you don't want to buy perhaps a stencil and just use it occasionally. So,
could I have chicken on rye, please, with a side order of chips?
No.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were doing lunch then.
Butter and bread's as far as I get, darling. I never did do the domestic thing.
No.
So, I've masked out the With Sympathy, and I've just spread the lily, which...
I think, can I just say something? But that left would look like embossing, wouldn't it?
Yes, exactly.
I
if
think
you
they're
just
lovely
leave
just in
it,
white.
it's nice just in white.
I mean, that's fantastic. I'll just love that simplicity of that.
It is, and it's lovely. And of course, if you use, and that one fits beautifully on an ATC as well. And if you put a piece of black card or dark blue card on your ATC and put that on it, you don't actually need to do much more. No. But less is rarely more for me.
I've noticed. You should have stenciled your own next time you come on down. This has not been stenciled, has it?
What?
Your little bit of your
oh no, I shall have to do something.
Couture. That's your next challenge. Next time you come on, you've got to wear everything stenciled.
Yes, I will.
Well, not everything, obviously.
Because you check.
I would.
So, with this one, I'm going to use just a little bit of my sand and
quickly
flip over like that. I only want a tiny bit. And then this is the glitter pack that's on the... This is Glitter Pack, Diane Dorward's Glitter Pack C, that's on the website. And these are my favourite colours now for Christmas. Rather than conventional red and green, I'm just putting that green over the stem of what was the lily, but you'll see. Like that. And now I'm going to use this fabulous wine colour. I love this colour. And I like lime green and wine for the Christmas designs, just to ring the changes from conventional red and green. And actually needs a bit more on there.
Could this paste and that be used on walls as well?
Yeah, it can. It's all over my bathroom walls.
Yeah. Did you have an explosion?
Yeah. So, yes, I've got Native American
We look
designs.
like twins in red, don't we, together?
We do, yes.
You're not too impressed by that comment.
No, I'm not. So then, your lily and your With Sympathy stencil is now a poinsettia for Christmas.
Oh, fabulous.
So, it just shows that you can take it on and you can... I always say, don't take a stencil at face value. See what else you can do with it. Have a look, see little bits of the design that you can use on their own. Just because it's near me, here we've got a Get Well stencil, which is, again, another really useful design to have in your kit. But the little basket of flowers is great to use on its own. It does a gift tag, it does an ATC, and it's a little design on its own. So all that sort of thing, they're all there for you to use if you don't want the Get Well sentiment. So you can always get lots more out of your stencils. Perhaps you've only got 6 stencils, but you can get lots more designs.
Okay. Now, when you did your paste there, so if you wanted to put embossing powder on it,
yeah.
So when you put your glitter on there, you just put your embossing powder on. You can mix your embossing powders if you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to let it dry. You just put your heat gun
on it. And yes,
and
it's a bit...
It goes like molten metal, doesn't it?
Yes, and then it's a molten metal look, and it's good. It looks good.
Now, if you've got any more questions, we've probably got about another 15 minutes left or anything like that. We're a bit short on questions on the forum. Come on. Let's get them on there. You've only got 15 minutes to get them up. And if you want to ring in, you're only a bit shy ringing in today, aren't you, Chucks? The telephone number is 0845 652 9142. Go on, Diane, you tell them.
0845 652 9142.
So if you want to ring... Oh, sorry. Do the last bit again. I spoke over you.
0845 652 9142.
And I think they're all a bit shy. I think we've all got the shy stick today. So if you want to ring in, the phone fairy will answer the phone and take your question. Hello, phone fairy. Come in, phone fairy. Phone fairy's feeling very sad that you're not ringing her. Come in, phone fairy. Nobody's ringing you. Where's your wand, darling?
I'll put it down.
She's lost the wand. And have you lost your wings as well? Let's have a look.
No, they should be there.
Yeah, they're there. You've lost them now because you're not doing your job. Yes, you can stick them there, Chuck. You can press it yourself. The phone fairy's ever so sad because nobody's ringing up in to talk to her. She wants to answer your questions. She wants to pass it on to somebody more knowledgeable. Love you. Missing you already. Bye. Close the door as you go. So if you want to ring the phone fairy, she'll bring through any message, and you can talk to us direct as well. The item number, blimey neck, I'm so stuck in shopping telly. 0845 if you want to ring the phone fairy, 652 9142. This is the first time we've done this, so I know you're all being a bit shy, so you don't want to get stuck in there. But Lottie, I'm surprised you've not rung in the gobbler you've got on you. Right, there'll be tears.
She's from across the border, of course, isn't she?
No, she's not. She's a Judy.
Oh, yes, she is.
She's
I know.
Judy.
I was thinking of... Who was I thinking of? Isabel.
Yes, it's it. What do they say? Where men and where women are...
Men and women are glad.
No, men are scared. Well, women are... I don't know, forget it. I'll say it wrong and upset somebody more or less. Anyway. Right, anything else you want to show us?
Right.
Or do you need time to think?
No, well, we can do the...
It's all for you, this. You can ring and ask her what shopping she did last week. We don't mind, Chucks. But if you want anything to do with stenciling, I'm filling for you while you're getting yourself organised. If you want to get... If you've got any questions about stenciling or something like, or just ask any personal questions, we don't mind. Do we, Chuck?
No, we don't.
What have you got there then? Oh, that would be a good idea.
Yes.
Tell you one thing I don't see, stenciling over pattern paper.
Oh, yes, we can
That would
do
look fantastic.
one of those.
I've just had that idea. Look, I'm sure it's been done 1,001 times before. But this is the same pattern paper that you've got behind us off one of your CDs. The CD, the Floral Art, I think it is.
It is. It's our backing paper today,
those are
isn't
going to
it?
work fantastic with stencil. What have you got there anyway?
Well, we do this, and actually I can do a stencil design on this anyway.
Nice.
This is the...
That's off the ABCD that's today. Now,
That's right.
If you want that, if you go to the website, look at the ABCD today, you'll see that you're getting 200 of the ATC cards to play, plus you're also getting the stencil as well, which you can make a little envelope for the stencils to go in, the ATCs to go into. We're not selling it, it's not a selling show, but if you want those, they're there. But this is what to do with the stencil, is that right?
Yes, because just to explain, because sometimes I do it, have them hung at shows and people sort of can't quite see what you do. So obviously draw around it, and I usually draw on the right side of something like this so that you've got it in the middle anyway. Nice to do with your backing papers, really nice to do with the wordy backing papers that are on the CDs. And then if you emboss, now just emboss down the centre tram lines if you only want a flat envelope, but emboss down both if you want a box. And they are lovely because if you do the Pyramage cards, it gives you a nice little boxy envelope that'll
nice,
take you. Yeah. So if you do Pyramage and things, you've got a little boxy envelope so that it doesn't get squashed in it. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you do a 3D decoupage one, that'd be quite good as well if you're doing a stencil with your paste.
Yeah, anything that's raised, you've got the option of a boxy envelope, which obviously you can do in your matching backing papers, and it's that extra bit of class. And I think ATCs are more and more popular these days. I love them. I've only been collecting them for about a year, and actually I've got a whole album full now of various ones. I've had them off the forum.
Well, don't they come to you at shows? And
yes.
You spend a lot of time swapping your ATCs.
Yes.
You've got queues of people that you're serving, and they all want to swap their ATCs with you. Absolutely.
And you know, somebody gives you their book or their box, and it's like a box of chocolates. You go, oh, you don't know which one to pick. It's fabulous. I think it's lovely.
Well, I think it's quite good because it encourages friendship, really, doesn't it?
It does.
And
you'll see at the shows, now ladies are wearing badges sort of saying, I swap ATCs or ATC swapped. And you see them sort of talking to what are actually total strangers in the walkways and saying, oh, have you got your book with it? Swapping ATCs, and it's really nice. So I think...
It reminds me when we're out in Betty. You know Betty that we do the filming in the TV show?
Yes.
Which you don't know anything about yet, but you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
We do that, and we're off out filming in Betty. And the number of people who drive past us who are in 2CVs, which are quite they're not very many of them about nowadays, and it's deep in the... I get embarrassed, I put my head down. I think, somebody spotted me in this. But Barry loves her. Loves Betty.
Oh, I know. He really, really wanted it.
He can't get his bum in it anymore, though, you know.
Oh, no.
He's got a bad knee and he had to drive it yesterday, so he wasn't too pleased. He had to get in and out of the 2CV, bless him. So it's a bit like that. It's a bit of a club. So if you do your ATCs and you swap and whatever, it's like being in the 2CV. So you've got your ATC, you've got your CTV. I don't know where I'm coming and going. So perhaps you ATCers should have little horns that when you pass each, you go beep, beep.
Well,
beep,
yes.
beep. Do you want to swap? They'll have you arrested.
But I was doing a demonstration day in Skegness not long ago.
Oh, you've got to do one of them. And
they never... Actually, it seemed new ground to them. They'd not really got into ATCs there. Oh. One lady did ask me what it had to do with the Air Training Corps.
Oh, pardon?
The Air Training Corps. What's card making got to do with the Air Training Corps?
Well, I can see the point. So, I mean, when it first came out, I had no idea. What are you on about? Trading cards? I'd never heard of them.
No, exactly.
Well, go on, you tell us. You enlighten us.
But what I sort of was saying to them, and they were saying, oh, yeah, you get to use all your little bits left over, which actually none of us can throw away. And you get all these pages of backing papers in a box that you keep in the bits. So you can use all those on your ATCs. And I find if there's something I want to watch on the TV, I don't see a lot of TV. I'm never home long enough, actually, to follow anything. But sometimes I think, oh, I'll watch that. So I take all my box of bits and the ATCs, and I do them on my knee watching the TV rather than sitting there and doing nothing to relax with. And I think it's a sort of very much an in front of the TV thing that you can do. And before you know it, you do a good big pile of them that way. And you've got them then at the shows. And I just think they're great. And several of us that are traders at the shows, we send them to each other. If somebody comes, you say, oh, I'll go and see Lizzie. And they go around from one to the other, and it's very much promoting people.
So how many did you get through in a weekend show?
Oh, I can get through 20.
Oh, 20.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, I get to the stage where I have to say to the ladies, look, I'm ever so sorry, they're ever so picked over, because I haven't had a chance to make any more, you know, when we're really busy and the show season's, you know, in full swing.
I think the good idea about swapping ATCs as well, because quite often you can use any crafting technique on them you want, really.
Anything.
And you get ideas, so you
yes.
might see something, it might inspire you to do something else. Now, what about using your stencils on scrapbooking? Will the paints work fine on those?
Yes, they will. They're acid and lignin free, which... Whenever I get a new product, whatever I stock, you know, they're all the questions you have to know. Non-toxic, acid and lignin free. So I always ask. So the paste you can use for scrapbooking, the paints you can use for scrapbooking, they're perfectly safe. And actually the glitters as well. The glitters are polyester flake, and to get onto the sort of safety thing, they are the glitters that are used for makeup, so they are hypoallergenic as well, because it is important to sort of know those things.
It is.
So it's great for scrapbookers, and I tell you something, I'm not a great scrapbooker. One day when I retire, I'm going to do this.
Oh, you'll never retire, Dan. You're a crafter. Crafters don't retire.
No, but one day when I'm not totting around the country and I've a bit more time at home, I've got the scrapbooks, I've got the pictures of the cats, you know, it's all sitting there waiting to do. But, you know, it's great fun to tear your paper and get the nice wibbly edge. What looks really quite nice, to use the paint lightly, in fact I can do one.
Yeah, go on, sure, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, let's do one. If I do it this way, then that'll be the frayed edge, as it were. And I use the turquoise. If you just very lightly use your paint, hardly any pressure at all, but you can colour...
Like an angel's whisper.
Yes, how nicely put, Alan. Yes. You can colour that little sort of riddle-raddle, the torn bit.
Wriggle-raggle?
The little riddle-raddle bit.
Is that a technical term,
Yes,
Diane?
it is, darling.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
It could also be a fairy's bottom burp. As gentle as.
Quite.
Yes.
Yes. But it is nice because you can just get that little blush of colour very carefully on the edge. So I use it quite often. Well, I do it in card making as well, just for distressing the torn edge and accentuating the torn edge of paper. I don't know whether we tear in as much these days.
I do. It's in personal preference, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, tearing was really hot, what, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, well, it's when scissors were difficult to get hold of.
Well, I suppose so, yes. Well, we've always had scissors in Worcestershire, darling.
Did you, darling? Oh, you're so posh in Worcestershire. You really are. Now, so we've only got 5 minutes left, so if you've got any questions, there's none come through for a while, just ask any last-minute questions while you can. Anything else you want to say in the last... Bring us up in the last 5 minutes or so? Anything you want to go through? If it's not, don't worry, we can wrap it up early. We've done quite a lot already.
Yeah. Oh, just to say in the ladies, that's another thing. The ladies CD, it's got hat box templates. We've had such fun with these. I have anyway.
I'll try and find those while you're looking. While you're talking about
that. Graham had such fun designing it because I'm drawing it out with a pencil and saying, "Now this is what I want," but obviously it's got to be accurate and it's got to fit. But I want this.
Where will I find those, darling? Oh,
on the ladies, not the floral art, darling.
Hat box folder.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, I'm bringing them up now. So,
right.
If I get them up, can you explain what they are?
And there's full instructions. So you get them like that. And what I say, you want some for the lid on the outside. And so if it's an all-over pattern, you just print that onto your card and print it onto your backing paper. If it's a one-way design, print it one way and then the other way round on your backing paper. So print 2 pieces of backing paper, one north to south, one south to north.
Okay.
If you see what I mean.
Now, do you print onto the printed side
yes,
or the back of it?
Yes, onto your printed side of your backing paper. So
you first of all print out your backing paper if you've got some already done. This then you'll put through your printer a second time.
Yes.
And you print the hat box design on top of it.
Yes, you want the lines on it. But if it's a one-way design, the one that's behind me is pretty good. You could use that all over. But if it's a one-way design, print it top to bottom and then print the same design bottom to top then on it.
So how many patterns do you get on there then?
You get large, medium and small.
So that's the medium one, is it?
Yeah, and then you get 4 small on an A4 sheet as well.
I'll just
with little gift tag ones.
And that's your 4 small.
Yeah. So I cover them with backing paper. You don't have to. You can print them onto pattern card if you want. You know, it's only ideas I'm giving. But when you've covered your box with your backing paper, then the fun starts. And all your bits of ribbon that you've left over, I tell you what, who can throw away peel-off backing papers when there's still bits on them, you know? Oh, I love those bits.
Joe, you know Joe's part of the team now who works with us.
Yeah.
On a work table, there's piles of peel-offs. Loads of peel-offs in it, and all the bits have been taken out. She's got
the middles.
She's going fanatical about getting those. And the best way of getting those out, on the website we've got the pricking tool.
Yes.
And you just... She's like this stuff, she's demented. She's like she's doing a barbecue, getting the sausages. She's like this. I'm going, what are you doing, woman? And I'm getting the bits out. And they're like minute. But if you use one of those little picking tools, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took over. You carry on, darling.
Oh, it's not like you, Alan.
I know.
They're my favourite things. I love the middles out of... And you've got the peel-offs to use. And
that's like a jammy donut and you kind of just get all the jam out first.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they are. They're the fun bit. So when you've got your hat box... You can use ribbons and lace, feathers as well, although actually I don't, because I don't like touching feathers. Brads as well, you can pop your ribbon in with little brads. So there's so much scope there for decorating them that no two have to come out the same. And all the bits, the sequins, the sticky jewels, all the gewgaws that you've got, you can go completely over the top, because I think hat boxes can be
as camp as Chloe.
Absolutely, darling. You can do them to death and you can still get away with it because it's okay for a hat box to be completely over the top.
A bit like yourself, a lady of a certain age, which is young, can get away with murder.
Absolutely.
And you've been getting away with murder for years, lady.
Yeah. It's true.
Right, just got another message here from Nona. She says, I've always been wary of tearing paper because it never seems to come out as good as everyone else's. Any tips then on paper? How do you make it look like everybody else's?
Well,
she's nicking all my paper here.
Oh, absolutely. It's actually, I'll get A4.
You get an A4, do you?
It's not costing me anything, so I don't care how many pieces I wrap.
I know we're going to be finishing after this because we've had an hour and we said about an hour, bit plus.
If you want
to go as long as you like.
If you want the frayed edge,
are you watching Nona?
It will be the.
I'll tell you what. Don't start yet. If we get on 5, they can see. Right.
Okay.
Start again.
Right. So if you want the, if I move this out of the way, you'll have a green. And I find if you tear it fairly slowly and you can pull
just
it
wiggling
this
it from
way,
side to side.
and you can pull it that way, like that. Now, the bottom edge has got that frayed bit, but the top isn't, because that's underneath. So you get the,
if you turn that over, though, you could use
you've
that
got a frayed bit there, but sometimes you want the sort of frayed bit, sometimes you don't. So it is just a question of, don't be scared, and do exactly what I'm doing now. Get some of your copier paper that didn't cost you very much, and practice doing the wiggly bits, and that's all you need to. But I love a bit of I thought you were going to say
rough then.
You've always been one of my best friends.
I always was. I like that. I thought you were going to say I love a bit of rough. Go on, carry on.
But I've seen you do a really nice card like this with penguins and things as for drifts of snow, haven't I?
That's fantastic.
And they look great. And yes, and with no more than white paper, in fact, for that.
I did a card once which was completely made up of torn paper. It looked really good because you can tear it, but you could tear it in the shape of the tree and the trunk and everything. And it was like paper sculpture, but it was all, I was quite proud of that. I'm sure somebody nicked it. But it was just layers of paper, and all it did was tear and stick. And just built up as I went along, and you can get some great things.
You know, just sit down with a few sheets of copier paper, and it doesn't have to be your best backing papers and your best the 12 by 12 papers. Don't use your nice stuff. Just play. Well, if you can play with Alan's, it's better than playing with your own, I find. Don't you think so, darling? You don't want to answer that, do you? No.
She's just topped me. How dare she? With her double entendres.
Guys.
Right, that's the end of the show. I think we should have drawn a line under that one. Right, folks. Now, listen, that was our first kind of web clash. It was just like a bit of a backup to the 2 TV shows that we did earlier on. If you want to see those shows now, I think they're on the website now. The repeats of those are on there now. If you're watching this web class at a later date, you can probably find those shows in the gallery, not the gallery, in the if you go where the web shows are, there's a library there and you can watch those. Failing that, you can go, also we did 2 TV shows, didn't we?
We did.
So if you look out for those on the TV, there's shows as well. So if you want to watch those shows and then come back, this will also be in a library where all the web classes are as well. Listen, do you want anything to say your final hurrahs, Chuck?
Well, yeah, thank you to everybody that's watched. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved it. I've loved having this opportunity. And it's been nice to be Alan's first guinea pig.
It is. Well, we wanted somebody a bit gobby, you know. So if it's...
Well, come to the right place here, darling.
What shall I? Listen, thanks a lot, Chuck. So don't forget, we've got more shows tomorrow. And we've got some fabulous... ABWD shows on Friday, and I'm sure Diane will be coming back. So we are going to be doing more of these web classes after the show's going on. We've got a few of the guests coming up in the next few weeks who are going to be doing something similar, and we'll be doing some ourselves as well. If you've got any ideas of things that you'd like to see or learn about, then we'll try and include those as well. But for now, I'll say ta-ra. Do you want to say ta-ra, Chuck?
Yeah, bye everybody. Been so nice talking to you.
Bless her. Ta-ra.
Bye.